Hello everyone, welcome to my next series, Final Fantasy VI, a game I've been working very diligently on getting as much information as humanly possible. I am Amalgorithmic, and this is quite possibly one of, if not my favorite game of all time. So, without any further delay, let's go ahead and just jump right into it. Got a pretty long video ahead of us. I'm going to be very upfront about it. This particular video is going to be loaded with info. I apologize. It shouldn't come up too much later, or too much throughout the series, but I am going to try to be as detailed as I possibly can. So, take that as you will, I suppose. I will not be loading my game. I did a few test runs just to confirm some stuff. Speaking of it's not going to be useful anyway. As I mentioned, this intro is very slow. I like some backstory on the project while we're going through dialogue. I was supposed to start recording this probably about a week ago. I actually did do a few takes up to what I consider the first major boss of the game. And every time there's just something I didn't do quite right. Whether it was a piece of info I didn't know, or just something. There was always just something that wasn't quite right. So eventually I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna sit down, really gonna hammer this out. So I've been taking a ton of notes, and hopefully my dedication pays off, because I really want this to be both enjoyable and informative. First and foremost, I hope I teach a lot of longtime fans something new. Or I teach people who've never played this game before that there is a very good Final Fantasy game just out there waiting for you. Ultimately, I opted to go with the GBA port simply because I didn't want to dish out $20 for less content. The Pixel Remaster is available. It's probably one of the few, if only, easy ways of playing this game anymore. The SNES version's also available, but don't play that. The SNES version is going to be coming up a lot throughout this series. You'll understand why I tell you not to play it. Okay, completely skipping over the plot. We have Biggs, Wedge, and Unnamed Girl. They are doing something for the Empire, looking for an Esper. So we are going to watch the intro credits. I forgot about this. Okay, back to story time, I guess. Because these people worked hard on this game and they deserve recognition. The SNES version has about, if I had to give it an actual number, 178,000 bugs. That's obviously overhypernate. That's not a word. Exaggeration, we'll go with that. That's simpler than me trying to use my brain right now. No, the SNES version was, I don't want to say abysmal, like it's functional, but there's a lot of bugs. And the original 1.0 version, the original release of the game, had a bug that could wipe your save file. And it's not something you would get until halfway through the game almost. We'll cover that when we get there, but it's insane. Not only that, but a lot of the names for items and locations, characters, etc., they're not accurate. The original translation team was one guy. I don't know what his time constraints were, but one individual translating an entire RPG, that's just a bad move. So other than bug fixes and a new translation, this is basically the same game, just a little more polished. The text has more or less the same font. Characters are named the same, except for maybe one or two. Before we get into anything, we have the Magitech Elite. Question mark. Missing no, we'll call her for now. Wedge and Biggs, the soldiers. Who cares about them, right? If you come down here to status, which is what I was actually wanting to show off, get ready. I'm explaining a lot. If you press A, you can check your inventory, I guess. Or your currently equipped items. Your strength, or vigor as it was in the original game. It has a soft cap of 128. If you... Or it adds to your damage output, I should say. Soft cap of 128, you can increase it up to 255, but any number above 128 does nothing. Take this number, square it, and then add your attack number to it. So right now, 31 strength squared. I'm not... It's 900 something. I'm not doing quick math right now. That's not the point of this exercise. Add the 42. Looking at roughly 1,000 damage. Slightly less. Of course, there's other factors that go into that, such as defense, but we'll get to that when we get there. Again, soft cap of 128, anything above 128, and it just does nothing, so once you hit 128, you can stop. Agility increases the speed in which your ATB gauge fills. That's all it does. We'll introduce the ATB gauge here in a minute. Stamina. There's a lot. Increases your chance to save against death spells. Increases the amount of HP you get from regen, the amount of damage dealt by poison, sap, and HP leak, the healing recovered per step with a tintinabulum. One thing I forgot about strength. Enemies don't have it. It randomly generates a number between 56 and 63. I bring this up because enemies also don't have stamina. However, it is not randomly generated. Their stamina is based on their maximum HP divided by 512. Take that number, add 16. If that number is greater than 40, it's just set to 40, so it has a soft cap of course, 40. Magic, or magic power if you're playing the original release. This is your magic damage. This, unlike strength, is not capped at 128. You can increase it all the way up to 255. Clearly, you know which one's better. Your spell power, or your magic damage dealt, is going to be the character's level times their magic stat times the spell power. Take that, divide it by 32, then take that number and add that to your spell power times 4. There's going to be a diagram demonstrating that formula. Battle power. That's just based on your weapons. Again, you just add that to your strength, that's your damage output. Pretty straightforward. Defense reduces your physical damage. Again, pretty straightforward. This is quite a doozy. This is
255 minus your... what is it? 255 minus the damage dealt. Multiply that number by the damage dealt. Divide that total number by 256. And then take that total number and add 1. That +1 is to guarantee that you can never take 0 damage. Because if you divided that entire thing by 256 and got a decimal less than 1, the game would round it down to 0. Add in that 1, you will never take nor deal 0 damage. Evade %, if you're playing the original, or evasion, is your chance to block physical damage. This is... your block value is 255 minus your evasion times 2. Then take all that and add 1. This was bugged in the Super Nintendo version. Evasion did nothing. It was a completely wasted stat no matter what character you were playing as. It just didn't matter. Magic. Just either Mag Def or Magic Defense. That's just your defense, but for magic. Same formula and everything. Magic Block or Magic Evasion. This, again, is just the evasion stat, same formula, but for magic. In the SNES version, this was also bugged, because this was your evasion stat. Magic Evasion still existed, but both stats used the Magic Evasion number. It was really dumb.
Hit rate is for enemies only. You will not need to worry about this.
It reduces their chance of missing. There's a super lengthy formula. It's hit rate times the block value divided by 256. Then you take that total number, and if it's greater than an RNG value between 0 and 99, it's a guaranteed hit. I believe... or is it 0 and 0.99? One or the other. I believe if the hit rate is 256, it is a guaranteed hit. Escape is a hidden stat. I don't think there's any secret equation going into it. Nothing I could find, at least. It's your chance of escaping, obviously. You cannot escape from side attacks. And you have your HP, which is your hit points, and your magic, or MP, which is your magic points, or mana, depending on which terminology you're familiar with. Those are the only two stats that go up with your leveling. Everything else is based on equipment. Now that that's out of the way, I will be putting up a thing saying, hey, skip to this timestamp if you don't want to listen to me rant about stats very incoherently. It's a dog. In battle, that meter on the bottom right, that is your ATB. That is what the agility stat is for. This is a Silver Lobo. Their HP will be on the screen. That is really the only thing you need to know. The GBA version does have a bestiary. I'm pretty sure every version after the original has one. So I will be showing that off. Basically, this entire intro is just mash A. Not gonna need to worry about too much. Although you may notice that Mystery Girl gets a few extra options than Biggs and Wedge. I think that's weird. Maybe she's important. You can also use magic, but that's pointless because I can already use magic. But for free. Again, just keep mashing A, you'll eventually win. There's a very good chance they won't even get an attack off. In fact, I think the first Silver Lobo only got one off because I was explaining the ATP. If I just mashed A, then I would have been fine. I don't think there's anything else over here. You can't really go exploring town because you are in a giant mech suit. But sometimes if you go down to side street, there are a bonus fight or two. I think I got the only one though. This is a side attack. This is known as a pincer attack in the original, I believe. It just says surrounded here. You cannot run from these. No matter which direction you run, there is an enemy. Even if you kill all the enemies on one side, I don't think it'll let you run. Maybe it does, I'm not sure. Alright, Mystery Girl got a level. Alright, time for me to show off what is probably one of the best abilities. Something that you really shouldn't have yet. The Banisher. This is known as Transfer or X-Fur in the original release because character limitations. Obviously, mammoths probably have quite a bit of health. So you just use the Banisher. And it doesn't work on them. Cool. Or I can't imagine that would miss. I'm pretty sure it has a guaranteed hit rate. Spells do obviously have like accuracy and stuff, but I couldn't find any info on that. I think that might just be based on the spell. Had I managed to land that, Banisher will instantly kill the enemy. However, there's probably only gonna, like, if you can't use it that fight, there's only one more enemy that you're probably gonna encounter. Or that you will encounter, but you might encounter some more in between then. But it's not likely. Strange light fills the air. Do you want to learn about save points? Sure. Save points you can use tents and sleeping bags and also save the game. Alright, just explaining some basic RPG mechanics. Well, basic for this point in time. I will overwrite this file. Oh, well, look at that. I did in fact encounter another one. Alright, see if I can show off Banisher. There it is, just removed from existence. I don't think this game fixed it. I know the SNES version had a bug with Banish late in the game. I don't know if it was ever fixed. There's a boss that's actually not immune to Banish. And using it is weird. This is Emir, or Welk if you're playing the original game. This dialogue is also completely different. In the original game, they were trained to fight these. I believe either Biggs or Wedge brings up the fact that they need to remember their training because they should know to avoid the shell. I, however, am going to attack the shell. You can kill this boss by doing it. It takes years, but you can kill the boss by doing it. And you actually do get an item out of it. The big thing you want to do is just make sure your whole party's healed up. Because you never really know who it's about to hit. And it... Okay, well, there's our first... Healing Force on you. It's probably gonna be Reflect. It was Reflect. Cool. This thing does not have very much MP. I think you can only use Megavolt 6 times.
Okay.
So, this is the timeline where I decided to not waste 32 minutes of my life. Once again, talk about this. Dialogue's different. This is the method that the developers wanted you to use. About every 10 seconds is when it sticks its head in. It also takes 10 seconds for it to stick its head back out. Basically, you just attack once, wait 10 seconds. In general, this should take you about 30 seconds as opposed to 30 minutes. That's not how it went down last time. You also cannot be in a spell list. I forgot about that. Because that does not progress the battle. But in general, doesn't take long, super easy fight. For killing it this method, you get a high potion as opposed to an ether. And just 1600 health, so 3 rounds it should be done. 3 or 4, depending on your damage rolls. Or 2! Easy peasy. And just show the reward here. Obtained a high potion. I did not show off the ether in the main timeline. It restores 50 MP. High potion heals 250 HP. You can decide for yourself which one you'd prefer. Honestly, I'd go with the high potion. Save yourself half an hour. Thank God. Oh. I don't even want to see how long this video is. But for all that effort, you get an ether. My audio recording says I've been going for about 52.5 minutes. Oh, man. I hate doing that fight that way. And the worst part is I'm going to do it again to show you the proper way. The intended way of beating that boss. I would hardly consider it a boss with how you're supposed to beat it. I guess I probably also should have shown off what an ether does, but we're here now. That felt like way more than 50,000 HP. I'm very confident I'm right about that, but I definitely want to check that at the end of the recording. Because, man, I was there for years. Alright, we are out of this cave after Ice Bird Man exploded everything. Anyway, I need to stop recording for a second. I was not ready for an hour-long video. I'm cutting such a massive portion of this out. Oh, it's gonna be fun in editing. At any rate, I've been Amalgorithmic. This has been Final Fantasy VI Advance. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take it easy, gang.